Hi, everyone. First of all, I like to say happy Friday and happy weekend because obviously this is the end of the week panel, and I welcome you to VCTV. This is the weekend panel of VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV, and this is from LATOKEN, and LATOKEN is one of the digital cryptocurrency exchange, the top 20 in the world. So today topic is about education technology and e-learning. We're going to discuss about a founder's perspective. We are also going to discuss about the investments in the space. So before I jump into introducing my speakers for tonight, I'd like to just start by introducing myself. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the regional director of LATOKEN, and I'm based here in Singapore. So I host VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV, Monday to Friday, and we cover several topics. And every day it's a different topic. The whole purpose, the whole goal and objective of VCTV is to connect investors and founders and entrepreneurs in under one roof, under one platform. Because as entrepreneurs, you know how difficult it is to get that funding, how difficult it is to get that right contact, get that right network, get that right advice and mentoring from people to get scale up, to get traction, to get that other levels of rounds of funding. So it's a difficult time. It's a difficult time, and more so because of the pandemic, things have become much more difficult. So hence, this platform, we are here to help you, and that's where we connect you with the investors that we have in our community. So that's about VCTV. That's a bit about the background about VCTV. So today is the Friday episode of VCTV. So guys, please feel free to just be a little relaxed. Nothing serious about the topic. All of you, please be relaxed. It's going to be fun. Let's make it fun and engaging. Let's end the week on a fun, high note, all of us. So we have people from UK, we have people from Florida, we have people from Singapore, we have people from India. So let's make it fun. Let's make it lively before we end the week. So first of all, I'd like to start with my speaker from who just joined VCTV for the very first time from Singapore. So who is a founder and who's an entrepreneur, and he owns EdTech startup. So John, welcome to VCTV. Happy Friday. How are you today? And please start with a short introduction about yourself.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you. Really great to be here. And hi, everybody, and the panelists, and hi, everybody who's watching. Wish everybody a good Friday. So I'm very happy to be here to share some of the journeys that we've been through, because it's really, really challenging in the COVID situation, right? Especially for education, because a lot of students can't go to school, they have to learn from home. So they face frustrations, the teachers are facing frustrations. And that's why an interesting phenomenon is, of course, teachers are looking for technologies, education technologies. And all of a sudden, we are advancing education technology with much, much faster speed than before. And EdTech become from something which is good to have to be must have. And I'm sure every teacher is using technology every day right now. So it's a big challenge for every one of us, even especially I think for EdTech companies, because we have suddenly increased the user base, and we have to make all of our teachers facilitate them with a new way of teaching. Yeah, so that's the situation faced in the EdTech space right now.
Absolutely, we understand that. I mean, the education was a space which got disrupted very early on because of the virus, that you can't and social distancing and physical distancing. We're gonna hear more about your challenges. How did you sail through these challenges in the last couple of months that we've facing later on after the introductions of our other speakers. So next, and welcome to VCTV, John. Next, I have Guhesh from India. Welcome back, Guhesh. Welcome to VCTV, the weekend episode of VCTV. And I love this episode of VCTV, by the way. Thank you. Please.
Same here. I look forward to speaking once again. Quickly, just to let you people know, I run a company called Excubator, which is based in India. I'm also a partner in a small fund out here in India, which is called C Fund. while we have not made any investments in the edtech sector yet, we have stayed focused upon other deep tech sectors. But the edtech sector is actually beginning to look hugely interesting. At this point in time, we are working with a group of startups coming from India, coming from Korea, South Korea. We're looking at startups coming from Israel at this point in time, which are doing some fairly interesting work in the edtech space. I'd be happy to share some of the interesting work that's happening in this space. Thank you again for having me, Sunny.
Thank you, Gwish. Thank you, and welcome to VCT. We always love to have you on our panel. Thank you so much. So next we have a new speaker from UK who is an existing client to LATOKEN, and he's been with us for a long time. Anand from UK. Hi, Anand. Welcome to VCTV. How are you today? You're on mute, Anand. We can't hear you.
Yes, by the way, thank you very much, everyone. And Sony, yes, again, as was quite pretty straightforward, as soon as you came, I was not even ready, but yes, thank you very much for letting me into this show. Yes, right. So as I would just like to say a little bit about background of our company as well. We started this project back in early last year. We thought that, this is something which is in the blockchains. We wanted to enter in such a way through our own tokenization of our token in terms of EdTech. It was totally out of the way because our plan was, let's start this way. First of all, we come from a background of education. We run around 21 educational establishments all around the world, actually. And then our plan was to move on forward from the schools environment to a university system. So we thought about way to set up a university. So we went to searching around different locations, thought from India, even we were planning in Singapore. We planned to set up a university in Thailand as well. But then we chose Central Europe to set up our next project, which was a university business. So we got the licenses, got the certifications, and we started to run our university in Paris. After that, our main plan was to do something next because we are a large group. And we always wanted to grow in such a way where we are seen as a fully technically sound group, not just providing education, but our main goal is to take education to the masses in other subcontinents where there's a lot of commercialization right now in education. The institutions, it's all about business for them, but we want and aim to provide education at the cheapest cost. So our plan was to go public rather than private limited. To go public, we did connect with companies like JP Morgan, companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers to go actually public through our own token as an IPO. But then we thought, is it really worth going as an IPO in a single country? For example, if you list our share or the stock in, say, Bangkok Stock Exchange or say Indian Stock Exchange or New York Stock Exchange or any other stock exchange, rather we should go global through our own token as an ICO. So that's how we got connected with LATOKEN and with the partnership, and we introduced our own EdTech currency, which we envisaged and we want it to be one of the main currencies for education. It's an EdTech currency. So then we launched this project as a global platform, which is Pedagog, for which I am just one part of the person. There are a lot of people involved in it. There is an EdTech team running it. There are business development officers, and we've got a large connection of universities, tutors, and around 450,000 plus tutors who are involved and connected to us. So this platform itself is not like just a place to use a learning management system, but it also provides tools to a tutor or a course content provider to use and utilize these tools to become an entrepreneur on our own platform. Plus, we connect a lot of institutions globally, coaching centers, schools, universities, to not only use our LMS, but also use our white label platform to reach and to get into this education marketplace. That's what we're offering through Pedagog. Then we are offering a complete system in which we allow users to utilize online virtual classrooms. We give them all those tools in collaboration with Cisco because there's no point going towards something which is totally out of the scope, because if we start building our own virtual classroom system, which we can't compete with Amazon or Microsoft or Cisco, which are the one-stop worlds. So we have connected with them in partnership to provide those services through our platform to different institutions, and we are teaching them. And now the services we provide them is like unlimited classrooms, live sessions, storage and links to all the students. And when it comes to providing the tools of teaching, like example John was saying, that is the biggest challenge right now we face, to actually train the tutors to understand how to teach over this kind of a scenario, which is very important. Through COVID, we have provided training, and we've got those sessions as well for a lot of universities, tutors, and other coaching centers and small schools, starting from providing education to the children to adults. So those blackboard scenarios on this kind of devices, these machines, this video recording systems, the teachers accessing the system and providing the blackboards, and explaining the students such a way that the integration is coming well, the engagement is coming well with the students. And then after the session, when the classroom is finished, they get their own individual links, so they can come back and see the video again. They can communicate with the teacher through some messaging services. So that part is done. Then we are moving on to the corporate learning as well.
Wow.
You've got some specialized skills and courses. We right now have around 1,200 plus courses, which we are adding on to our platform slowly and steadily.
Right.
And because our platform is developing right now, and we are going to beta launch very, very soon. We hope in around 2 to 3 months, we should be live. Right now, we are signing up with institutions. We have around 400 institutions already connected with us, who will be using our platform to sell their content, to use our marketplace, to use our LMS, to use our virtual classroom systems. And there's a lot more behind. Plus, one of the main thing is we're using the tokenized way of providing education through our own token known as LOL token.
Right.
And our partner to utilize that token to convert it back to BTC or Ether or fiat,
Right.
is hopefully going to be LATOKEN.
Right.
So how is making sense I've not said too much or you know what I mean? So
no, I mean, the business model does make sense to John, I'm sure Guhesh and Gary as well. So I think John and you can find some ways to synergize and collaborate, because
I think so. Pretty interesting.
Show in Singapore, and you are also planning to, sort of leverage Southeast Asia. Let me just start with the last but not least speaker on the panel. After the introduction, we're gonna go and discuss about the trends and the future of the EdTech industry. So my last speaker, but not least, Gary. Welcome, Gary, to VCTV. Happy Friday. How are you today?
I'm great, like always. Just fantastic, and it's great to be here, Sunny. So my name's Gary Fowler, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an investor, and I like to write a little bit. So I write some articles and have a little show that I put on. And I'm all into AI because I talk about it time and time again. I mean, we're data driven, and if we're not, we need to be, because there's a lot of information that's out coming at us every day. As I've said in several panels, I mean, think about our own environments. We each in our personal cloud have about 300,000 items, and the entire World Wide Web in 1996 was 257,000 websites. So each of us today have that many items. In 5 years, it'll be 10 million. How in the world are we going to be able to, today, if I send you an email, you say, or message, where did you send it? I don't remember getting it. Right? So we're in a case of infobesity. So anyhow, that's where I am. I just started a global accelerator that's really, really taken off. And GSDVS, Get You Done Venture Studios. We curate some of the top AI companies in the world. We take them out, and I've had 2 unicorns. The last one was sold for 1.35.
You're mute, Gary.
Yeah, well, the last one was sold for $1.35 billion. Our unicorn. So anyhow, that's where we are, and it's great to be here. And happy Friday, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Gary. Happy Friday, and yes, welcome to the weekend episode of VCTV, all of you guys. So we are done with the introductions from all our speakers. You're all set. The warm-up round is done.
Okay, you forgot about me again, and I'm getting a little
Oh,
insulted now.
God.
Okay, this is like the
Louis.
third show, and Gary didn't even interject and say,
Look,
"Hey, you know what?
Louis,
You forgot."
Louis, I thought maybe you slipped in because she said, "and our last speaker," and I'm like,
No,
okay,
no,
maybe I
brother.
missed something.
Oh, I was here
I
waiting
thought-
We can all see
patiently,
you.
and I came here, and I have another appointment. And I came here to VCTV to try to share some
Blame
knowledge.
Zoom, to
And
be honest. The late
I'll just be real quick. You know, look, I've been in finance over 25 years. I heard what John and Anand they were talking about. It's interesting. We have a project. We're involved in AI, AR, VR, and we are involved in collaboration platforms, and we're doing some interesting things. And we have an EdTech project that incorporates security and facial recognition, all this stuff. So I'd like to connect with you guys. You should connect with me if you can, so we can see, because we're looking to do good things not only in the United States but globally, and because there's a big need for it. All right. So, but you can find out more about me on fgapartners.com and see the things that we're doing. And thank you, Sonny. See, Minnie and whoever that other little bear is should keep you informed that, hey, I'm here. I exist. Oh my God, I feel like Joe Biden. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm all alone in the world.
I know it's like, wow, you know, I'm not used to that. I'm used to getting a little bit of attention. Jeez.
Minnie's got a company today because she's always on her own. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Tony, you should talk to Zoom. This is a problem because when somebody in the lobby, you don't know, right? You don't get that notification.
I
Yeah.
was in the speaker view. I just could see Gary. I couldn't
And
see Louis.
this is why I don't use Zoom. This is why I don't use this platform, only to come on here, by the way.
Have you tried?
Yeah, go on. Sorry, John, go on.
Do you know this new viral product called Yeah, by the
Yeah, I heard about it.
right.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's pretty viral
Yeah,
now.
they raised a bunch of capital lately.
Yeah. They're trying to change the user experience of video calls. So it works with Zoom, it works with Google or Teams. I think it's pretty cool.
It's like
went
they do
viral.
overlays and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with Vero. We're doing the same thing. You have overlays, you have frames, you have a lot of things that you can do to make the user experience a lot better.
I think people are bored with normal Zoom, so people getting creative. Yeah.
We got Sunny Zoom over here. Sunny Zoom.
Sunny Zoom?
That's you, Sunny Zoom.
Okay. Oh, I like that. It's a brand. You made me a brand, Louis. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So John and Anand, Guhesh, Louis, and Gary are regular speakers on VCTV. So they speak on Asia panels, they speak on US panels as well. So we got somebody in US as well, Kyle, who moderates the sessions. So yeah, so these are regular speakers and great people, investors, and with a lot of insights across all the industries you can name. So yeah, it's the best place to actually connect with them and build some solid relationship. Okay, great. Thank you so much. John, I'd like to ask you about your experience during the pandemic, because you are a founder yourself, right? You are an entrepreneur yourself. So we talk about we discuss topics about how the entrepreneurs are surviving during this pandemic and what kind of help they need. But we have you on the panel to share your journey, your experience this year, especially beginning of this year.
Thanks. Yeah, so the solution that we build is primarily solving a problem of teacher-student interaction in the 21st century. So you may know in a lot of spaces, a lot of classrooms, the teachers are teaching and they're not able to interact with every student, right? So in a traditional classroom, I can only pick students to answer a question, but with one-to-one device arrangement, the students can all answer questions and teachers can get data from students and they can have insights. So for example, in Microsoft Teams, you can actually plot the students' progress over a period of time. So that will need students to have the technology, have the hardware devices to interact with the teacher. So we provide the way to to facilitate teacher-student interaction.
Right.
And then we plan to launch this product around middle of the year. But then early April, you were in Singapore, you know, there's a circuit breaker, right? That just
Right.
happened. So early April, when the product was not ready, the wave hit us and we are all working from home, or there's a home-based learning. So we said to the team, why don't we just launch it right now? Because although the full feature is not ready, let's just give everybody to use this for free. And we emailed a few lecturers that we know we have been connected to, and then it's just started. And then I realized that how demanding technology edtech right now, because all the teachers all of a sudden they're looking for solutions, because the teacher-student interaction is kind of lost in the online teaching. So we serve a lot of higher ed. So the problem that they face is they can use Zoom, they can use Teams. But as a teacher, how do you make sure the students are listening? Absolutely. Your students could be like having a burger or watching a TV. You just don't know they're listening, right? So our tool became popular, sort of a little bit viral, because our tool is built into PowerPoint. So you can do all kinds of interactions within PowerPoint. So you can turn your slide into questions. You can ask students questions. You can poll, and you can run quizzes, and you can have these open-ended questions, and allow students to use their browser to answer your question. And teacher can on the fly get all the responses saved and analyze students' responses. So immediately, I feel that this problem faced by teacher is getting a lot larger because of this interaction loss. Because in a physical classroom, you can engage with the students, you interact with students just by looking at them. But when you are teaching online, if the students just turn off the video, mute themselves, how do you know they're listening, right? So you have to use the technology to maintain the interaction with them. So you can see in Zoom, you have Q&A, you have polls, you have all these, although limited. So what we do is to provide a way for every teacher to do it right inside PowerPoint. So we work with Microsoft ecosystem, and the reason we plug into PowerPoint rather than create a new app is we want this to be very easy, because now we are already at the stage that every teacher needs technology.
Right.
So very soon after April, we're now in 57 countries, and that is because of the large demand. Just recently, I don't think you can grow that fast in 2019, but just a few months later, right, with the COVID. So we're thinking how to design a product that spread like a pandemic, like COVID. You know, we want the product to be like COVID as well. Yeah. So that actually shows how much technology or how much urgency it is right now for teachers to get useful and simple technology that they can use in their daily teaching.
So in April, so during the pandemic, you expanded your business to 59 countries.
Right. That's the thing. That's how fast it is. We so all of the users grow organically. So we have users. Of course, in Singapore we can contact our previous customers, but we don't have. We have some footprint in the Southeast Asian region, but we don't have in other continents. But then soon after, I think also is because the tool is embedded into PowerPoint. It's easy for people to understand and get to use. So quickly now we have like users from the US, Europe, right, UK, Africa, Middle Australia, everywhere. We are very impressed because now it's I would say people are more connected, just like we're having this call now, right? So this becomes a daily. So every day we have a few video calls maybe, and we don't have the limit of location, limited by geolocation. Just now we talked with Gary, said he cannot even remember the time, right? Even time zone is not a problem right now. So I think people are more connected. That's why information spread more quickly right now.
Wow,
And that,
congratulations,
yeah.
John, firstly. You
By
know,
the way,
if
what's
I,
the
if I
name?
can
What's the
say
name of your
something.
platform? By the way, what's the name of your project platform, John?
Sorry, yeah, it's called ClassPoint. You can search Google ClassPoint.
you can
It's
share
a
your
it's a SaaS.
website in the
Yeah,
chat.
okay, yeah. I'll type into the chat.
Yeah, what I was going to say, John, I commend you for what you're doing, and I think that the
Thanks,
integration
Luis.
into the platforms is what the UI on that is going to. It's clean, it's simple, and if your mother or your grandmother can use it and they find it simple, basically it'll be something that it'll hit
Exactly.
to a lot of people, and you're doing that's smart as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel. So you're doing
Yes.
something good there.
Especially that's what teachers need. They need something they can immediately use in class rather than
Right.
spend time to struggle and to learn and forget and relearn and remember.
What people don't realize that teachers, if you equate them to a phone, they're like an iPhone 1 or 2, and you're on iPhone 12. So you have to help them to come to
Right.
the modern times. So
Exactly.
that's important. I just wanted to tell you that, John.
Yeah. I think anybody working in the edtech space will understand that and try to make something that they will use very quickly. Thanks,
I
Luis.
just couldn't help. I just couldn't help noticing, John, that you named a number of countries, but you never named India. So I'm just curious to
Oh
find out what's the
yeah,
kind of presence that
sorry.
you have in
India
India.
is also one of the top, because we
I'm just,
also yeah. So we noticed because we started our YouTube channel a few months ago, and at the starting point we published videos about Microsoft Teams and all these things, and at that time that was highly demanded. So I think the top 3 countries on our YouTube, I think it's the US, India, and Philippines.
interesting.
As these are the top countries.
US, I thought for sure would be US is a huge market, and India as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Big population. By the way, how is the situation in India? Are schools all closed right now?
Everything is closed right now,
Everything
not just
closed.
schools, right? Almost. So there is some talk that says that schools will probably start opening by the first week of November, but there's
First week of
still a lot
November.
of fear, primarily because the number of COVID cases is continuing to rise.
Right.
I mean, the curve is dipping, but
Mm.
the number of cases is not going down. I mean, we have still not reached the situation where we are flattening the curve. I think a lot of people are genuinely worried in terms of sending kids to school where they will start interacting with older people, and we have seen the results that happen in the US, right? I think a couple of universities, they opened up, and within, I think, days, they had to close down the universities because they started showing 30, 40, 50 COVID positive cases within days in those universities and in schools. So I think that's part of the fear out here. However, the interesting part that I noticed, I am going to take a look at ClassPoint, which is, what is the number of users that you have over here in India? I'm just curious.
I have checked the data because in India it's not the country that we actively closing deals with.
Got it.
It's just we let the users grow organically,
Got it.
and then we're using the data to guide us sort of like which country to go. By the
I'd love
way,
to stay in
before
touch with
that
you.
we have partner in India, but in previous few years we kind of focused on hardware, and that's why we have partners in the region, in Southeast Asian region. But another takeaway that we got was the new SaaS program that we developed quickly grow globally, and that's because as a digital product, it's a lot easier to spread. And as Luis said, the integration with PowerPoint definitely helped a lot. We had a meeting with Microsoft. They also liked the idea, and we're meeting them next week as well because they want us to build interaction with Teams, because a lot of students are using Microsoft Teams and they want the data to go directly into Teams for teachers to get analytics. So that would be cool as well.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just have to drop off. I just wanted to say thank you, and everyone on the panel. You can connect with me, and you guys have a fantastic weekend. Keep doing the great job, Anand and John. You're doing amazing things.
You too,
Take care.
Have a great weekend, and see you soon. Take care.
See ya.
So John, I'd love to stay connected with you. I think there's some interesting stuff that we could talk about, at least for India. There's a lot of work that's happening in terms of the government putting in serious interest in terms of what is it that can be done in terms of boosting digital literacy or literacy through digital channels in India in multiple ways. So I think it's definitely a question that we can have. I mean, it's definitely a conversation that I think we should have.
Sure, we should talk.
I do have your LinkedIn address, LinkedIn thing. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn, then we'll take
Okay,
it.
okay. Thank you, Gireesh.
I've gotten that group created in LinkedIn for you to collaborate and
Thanks.
share.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
So John, just tell me a bit about. Are you bootstrapped? Like, do you have any private investors? In your company, or how did you scale up during the time?
Yes, we bootstrapped 5 years ago. Before that, I was working in university. I worked in National University of Singapore for 8 years.
Right.
So I was a little bit quite familiar with especially higher ed and what the teachers need. So we started, but I had no experience in business. I majored in physics, right? So yeah, so I did a few years of research also in physics. And that was the time that I stepped out to do business, but I had no knowledge. So we decided to bootstrap because I thought this will be a slow process. At day one, if you get money, but you make the wrong decision, you'll die quicker, right? So we started to bootstrap and spent every penny carefully, and then really figure out what the teachers need by talking to them. So I did a lot of interviews and surveys and find out just exactly like Louis said, teachers want something simple, very, very easy to use. So a lot of EdTech products fail because they're not simple enough. So if this is not something that can be self-serviced, I would say it's very hard because we're not talking about enterprise product where you send the salespeople do tons of trainings. You can't do that to teachers, right? You will make their life tough. So instead of helping them, you are adding hiccups and barriers to them in teaching. Every minute in the classroom is important, so they don't want to waste time. So as EdTech products, it has to be both powerful and extremely easy to use. So in ClassPoint, we have to track all kinds of behaviors from our users, and we check the funnel. So how many coming, how many activated, how many users actually reached the aha moment, and how fast they got this aha moment to realize the value of this product, and how frequently they use the day-to-day usage, classroom usage. And we figure out, we even built in-app help desk inside of ClassPoint that's also inside of PowerPoint, so that when they have questions, they didn't need to go and ask their colleagues and their IT. So there's an interesting story. A school said, if our 500 teachers all use ClassPoint, wouldn't my life be very miserable? Because I'm the IT support, right? So we have to tell them, you don't need to worry, because everything that we can solve can be solved directly, because our response time is within a day. So a lot of teachers, they like our service because we connect with them on Zoom, on Teams, and helping them to solve the question, solve the issues. And then we also feel that because this tool is easy to use, our users start to sell the tools, sell this ClassPoint to their colleagues. Not actually sell, but actually recommend they do the training, they do the demo. So we didn't need to do that. And thanks to a very, very simple user experience that we provided. So that's a, oh, sorry. Am I taking too much time?
No, the thing is, we have a hard stop 9, and this is a Friday. I just don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Time. So just want to ask one question. What's the underlying technology your platform is built on? Because Gary is very much a technology person, and he's vouches for that. So is it like SaaS-based product? Is it subscription model?
Okay, so yeah. We SaaSified a desktop application. So as a plugin for PowerPoint, we can't use a web app. If this thing stays on a website, then it's not a native integration, right? We want to build a native integration, so it's a VSTO adding for Office. It's based on .NET, but we SaaSified it, Every users use their email address to log in, and we've also made that like Office 365 that can be auto updated very easily. And in terms of business model, yes, we charge subscription per month, per year. We also charge per school. Yeah, that's how it. Yeah.
Okay, great, John. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just want to ask Anand quickly, what's the difference between having an EdTech platform on the blockchain technology with a token on that, and what just John has shared? And for the investors, I'd like to ask you as well, what's more appealing to you in terms of investing? So, Anand, would you like to start first?
Yes, certainly. As like John said, a lot of technology stuff we talked about is pretty amazing, because that is the most important thing right now, to provide the best of the best solution for the problem which teachers are facing using the technology part. So somebody could access their platform in easier way and provide what they want to provide in terms of education. Is pretty good. Our focus is totally separate. We are providing a mix of a lot of things. We provide a learning management system for institutions to access, because providing online education is not just providing the coaching itself on virtual classrooms, but accessing the full database in which you can add up your courses, you can add your students, you can add teachers, you can give them rights to the teachers to access a certain classroom, and the teacher accesses their own set of students, and students submitting the assignments getting auto checked for anti-plagiarism. And so those kind of tools is what we focus on. Now, our system generates reports when, like, suppose, for example, in an LMS, in a particular course, there are, say, 10 lessons. Each lesson gets checked auto according to the data filled, and then it generates a report. So the teacher of a particular institution who has signed up on our platform would get an access to that tool, which auto checks and gives and generates a report to make it. This is kind of providing the access to make it easier for them to provide coaching, not just virtually, which is a separate part of this business. Virtual classroom is very important, obviously, bringing engagement, teaching, guiding, and making them learn and making them understand. But the database behind, in terms of the LMS itself, is also very important. Those tools are also what we focus on. So then we have a white label platform in which we giving access to a tool, a page for an institution, a coaching center, or you say a university, to access the full marketplace, because we are looking for not just monetizing big way in it, but we, as a main aim, is to go in economies of scale to the large with the least cost in education, and the money is automatically there. So we have cut down education by introducing licensed MBA courses from 3 institutions with 2 semesters in one with basically a mix of 3 universities providing that MBA with 3 semesters in different institutions on our platform, cutting down the cost of MBA to just 1,400 euros. And the similar credits you could achieve in the UK university at 9,000 euros. So you can see the shift of with the same amount of credits, because we can do that because it's all business, it's all commercialization. They're selling the same credits at 9,000. So those kind of skills are what we're looking for. We're introducing new courses, which are a mix of from different universities with different backgrounds, with different accesses, with different teachers teaching a particular semester. That is what we are focusing on.
Right.
Corporate learning is another part of the business, introducing specialized catalogs. Now, again, coming back to the blockchain, why we said is because academic honesty is one of the most important thing. Now, on other platforms, what's happening is people are providing and doing the courses, but nobody knows who has done that, actually, the assignment itself. So that part of the business on blockchain, the certifications stored, every single activity of a user is actually controlled and saved through the blockchain, which gives their own hash and gets stored, which can be pulled out anytime. Obviously, we can't disclose the data and the GDPR of the student, but there are certain things which everybody can go and get a certificate through that blockchain. Now, we also planning to introduce like a pedagogue solutions in terms of recruitments, but that is a future stages, next step of our phases. And another thing we thought is digital personality testing system, through which we will be using the blockchain, introducing it and linking it with the thumb prints of a student. So the data can come through, all the data will be through the thumbprints, which we are working on it. which involves some hardware integration as well. So we're talking to some suppliers how to integrate that in our teams. So yes, blockchain, and then coming to token, obviously you understand like Bitcoins and all these tokens are there. So they are for a certain reason. So we, in the same way, for example, we have had some massive problems for providing online education. A student in, for example, say in say South Africa, they wanted to do a course in a university in Paris. So they make a payment to PayPal. PayPal charges nearly 4.5% roughly.
Yeah.
And after doing the course, they do a chargeback. They say it was a fraud. That was one problem. And they ask for refunds. So that is another problem as well. With the introduction of our own token, first of all, the payment is instant. Secondly, the fraud system is less. The savings part is less. The money, the cost from the business to going to the Visa or MasterCard is less as well. The transaction fees are cut down as well. Plus, at the same time, we can cut down our cost at a much higher pace for providing education to the public and the community. And the goal is to take education to the masses, not just commercialization, but again, to make money is massive. According to us, I mean, there are like 8, 9 different set of revenue models in this whole project, and we want to back it through our token.
Absolutely. Great.
And that's the way moving forward.
Absolutely. Got it. Obviously I am in the blockchain industry, so I understand. Sorry. Thank you, Anand and John. I just want to quickly ask Gary. Gary, you've just seen 2 founders right in front of you. So what are your thoughts about each of them, and what can you add on to, just on the topic today?
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of what we're really interested in, this, what we've said today is there is a massive issue. This coronavirus could last another 2 years.
Yeah.
And during that period of time, we've got to figure out how to be able to educate better, how to be much more efficient and effective in it. And the technologies that are out there, like immersive education, being able to hyper-personalize, being able to have that camera on that child to be able to understand from a behavior standpoint what's happening with that child so you can make the education better. The good news is, Sonny, this should have been done a long time ago. All this technology, I mean, education has not been that efficient and effective. So, I'm encouraged by the times today. So if we look at, where we are, we look at, more automated schools, more data-driven insights, and all those kind of things have to happen. They were talking about this happening over the next 10 years. Well, we don't have 10 years anymore, right? So what I'm really interested in personally in our portfolio, in fact, we added about 11 more companies in our portfolio recently. And what we're looking at from an education perspective is how do we take AR, VR, XR, and how do we incorporate that? Because think about this experience. I mean, the good news is that you're home. The other thing is you can be anywhere. So imagine a classroom that can take a trip to Africa and go down into to look at the lions and the elephants and the mambas and everything else that's out there. A truly experiential opportunity. So it doesn't really matter where you are, right? It matters that you're all connected together on the same trip together, on a virtual bus together, going into a particular safari. So imagine being able to go back in history and to be able to look at a particular event and to be able to understand it, or to go to the moon. So, and those technology, I mean, it's happening now. So I'm encouraged about it. I think that as we start to make it more 3-dimensional in a sense, so you can really feel that experience, then it changes everything, because we never had that before. We had flat books, we would read a book, memorize, and that's it. But now you can become part of the experience. And I love it. So, that's my take. And of course, artificial intelligence is a huge part of this, because the data is coming out and coming in. Imagine being able to take a student and customize the experience to explore mathematics in an entirely different way, or physics, to be able to understand what it's like. What is gravity, right? Let's take a trip to space. Let's understand what gravity really is. So that's what I'm encouraged about. And, to the, I applaud EdTech today is more important than it's ever been. And so I applaud the startups for, taking initiative on it. And I think it's a great time, because people need to to go online, and people need to have more efficient education. So it's a great time for them.
Thank you, Gary. So both John and Anand, I mean, you just heard like, all the ideas coming from Gary as well. How do
Gary, I
we...
actually have a question for you. I like the idea of VR, AR. How do you see this trend growing in developing countries? So if you want to have these technologies in education, you certainly need infrastructure, right? You need good internet connection, you need good device, processing power. So how do you see the, students from developing countries to receive equal opportunity for this kind of education?
Well, I mean, the good, I just wrote an article in Forbes. If you Google my name, Nikola Tesla's dream comes true, the democratization of opportunity. And so, I mean, 5G is going to really level the playing field, right, for a lot of
Right.
places. And so the speed of change in those developing countries is going to dramatically increase because the opportunity, the democratization has never been like it is. And so in terms of, I was in Russia when Russia had gone through some pains, and, they said it was a third world country. I personally lived there 14 years. So I've seen those countries dramatically increase. It's going to happen faster now, John, faster than we've ever seen before. So 5G, is going to just permeate through there very, very quickly, and it's going to give people an access to everything. And how is it? I mean, it takes one person, one group to be able to help get the momentum going. When I was in Russia, so just an example, we started an accelerator over there. People said it could never be done, and Russians weren't really ready for it. It wasn't the right time. Well, we started it. Now there's, it turned into a massive movement. So it just takes one. So the technology will be here. You don't need the kind of infrastructure that we had before to be able to support it. And you don't need the same, it used to be before you had to have a really expensive a phone to be able to set up to do the VR. It's different now. And I think it's going to happen very, very quickly. So the startups just like yours that want to attack this kind of market, now's the time to get out there. The problem is people do it after it's already started. I'll wait and see. And I've seen this. I've done 16 companies, right? And I have $2 billion companies. You got to get in ahead of time and understand this is 5G is going to drive it. In fact, if you get a chance next week, I have the top person from Intel that runs Internet of Things and smart cities, Samir Sharma. If you get a chance, listen to that, get a chance to dial in. You can see it on our website, gsdvs.com. But it'll be very, very interesting because he's the person that's going to talk about, Samir's going to talk about 5G and the impact it's going to have around the world.
Let me just add to what Gary was talking about, right? John, you were specifically talking about third world countries. I'm going to take it, one step further and literally take you down to some of the smaller villages that we have seen in India, right? And I'll try and share that article with you about how a school teacher, not one of the best educated people in the world in India. Well, let's understand this, because to get a school teacher's job in India, what you need is something which is called a B.Ed, a Bachelor of Education, which is not really considered to be a very, very high level of education in India itself, right? But this teacher was passionate enough. She was teaching biology. She literally used simple tools that were available to be able to create AR experiences that she was putting out for her students. So essentially, she was literally dissecting a human body on, so she was standing next to a screen, and she was displaying the way in which a human body could be dissected. I mean, first layer, you peel off the skin. Then the next layer you peel off is the muscle. The third layer that you peel off is for example, the bones, and then getting deeper and deeper and that kind of thing over there. All this she was doing with essentially commonly available tools. Things like I don't even Power Director or some of these products that are available literally on mobile phone apps to be able to create products like this. The entire thing was transmitted on literally 3G kind of networks. And India is pretty strong in terms of 4G. So I'll go with what Gary is saying. 5G happens. 5G is going to be a game changer in terms of communication. And I think many third world countries are at this point in time, because they do not have the I mean, how do you put it? Past mistakes to kind of back away from. I think you will see 5G adoption in places like India much faster.
Much faster.
I'll try
Yeah.
and send that link across to you. I think you'll find the kind of work that people are doing in EdTech using technology is actually fascinating.
One problem we're facing is, like people in African continent, which is a big market for online education, especially for us, because we have a number of educational institutions. They do not have facilities like laptops, desktops, those quality hardware because of monetary concerns, because of the funding they have. Obviously, we need we need systems. We are trying to provide education over the mobile phones, but again, the quality of the phones, even though the network comes, the hardware will always be a challenge. So in this, Leo, what we have done is we introduced a new course and got it approved by the French government, MOFA, for the ministry, which is, like you said, BEd in India. Like there's something known as Teacher for Learning. So we have got a list and a data and a connection with 450,000 tutors in African continent, and we're giving them that education, obviously through on a platform, through signing up, and we give them that certificate and that quality education, which is through videos and personal, up to 1,000 people can come on our virtual. So we've done so stages. After providing them, they get a certificate, and that they get that quality coaching, providing knowledge and a certificate itself, with which they will get some tools, etc., to train.
Makes sense. So what
And then on that basis as well, so I mean, that is the challenge. And then that's the reason we are cutting down the cost of education. Making money is no problem. There is a lot of business can come through, because education is obviously one of the highest levels, as we see in the next 4 or 5 years. But cutting down the education, reaching out to the masses, having a global platform is thus what our focus is. But yes, that challenge we always face about, how to provide them those hardware facilities to access the system. Even though 5G might be there, but that is a bit of a challenge. But we need to find a solution for that as well. It's cutting down some costs. We can cut down the education cost, prices of, we can lower down the fee structure, but to provide them that thing, that tool to access that education, that is still going to be a bit of a challenge, because that is a big market for us.
Right. So you go with
Yes.
the challenge.
Great.
So Guhesh, you wanted to add something to the challenges?
My point is, no, I'm not going to try and add to the challenges. We have enough challenges at this point in time. But I'm just saying that, what I find interesting is that innovation has always taken into account what already exists, and then built on top of that, right? Which is what I see happening in a lot of places. For example, the same example that I used just now of this lady teacher in I think somewhere in Telangana, in AP. And I think, if Amit had been there in this call, he might have been able to add some details over there, because I think he comes from that geography himself, right? But they have used existing, really low cost cell phones, $100 cell phones, which are what are commonly available over here, created compelling content on that, and being able to transmit it to students on 3G kind of networks. All I'm saying is that, innovation needs that mentality by which you're turning around and saying that, look, let me build something on top of something which is already available. Similar to what John has been talking about, right? That says that, look, he built something on top of PowerPoint, which is one of the most commonly used blasted platforms. I mean, I hate PowerPoint myself, but still, okay. It is one of the most common things that people use. And teachers, they literally create these things on PowerPoint, right? So you've taken something on PowerPoint, you've embedded something into that, and then you're saying, hey, use this to actually, solve a real problem that teachers face. The problem that teachers face today is not in terms of being able to deliver content. They can deliver content on Zoom, they can deliver content on, Teams, any one of the products that you're talking about, right? The biggest problem that I've heard from most teachers today is that they're turning around and saying, look, it feels like I'm talking into a vacuum.
Right.
And when a student turns off his or her camera, or he or she goes onto mute, and I've seen that happening when my son does that. My son is in the 10th grade right now, so he'll wake up. His classes start at 8:30. I hope he's not listening. Okay. He'll wake up at 8:30. Sorry, his classes start at 8:30. He will wake up at 8:25.
Oh,
He's lying in
really?
bed. I'm not joking. He's lying in bed. Uh, and he's got a tablet. One of those Samsung tablets that are sticking around over there. He set that as an alarm for 8:25. So the alarm goes off. He just picks up the tablet and he's sitting there and he punches in saying that, okay, I'm available. No video, no audio. The number of times that we have heard complaints from teachers that, look, these kids are not coming online, so I do not know what they are talking about. I do not even know if I'm able to get through to them, is a much bigger problem than the technology
Yes,
that's available
exactly.
to transmit that. So if you are measuring interaction, even without video, I think you're solving an enormous problem, because all that you're doing over there is you're turning around saying, hey, you know what? You don't need video to track interaction. If the guy is answering questions, heck, he's
Yeah.
interactive. I mean, he's interacting with you, right? That is what I'm talking about. And that's what I meant, Anand, as a really innovative approach to be able to solve a deeper problem, which is that of teachers not being able to track interaction.
That's a fundamental problem. I'll tell you something more creative, right? We know a school will force the students to open their cameras so that they make sure they attend in the class. But Zoom has the virtual
Background.
background, right?
Yeah.
So some students record a video of himself or herself and use that as virtual background to replace themselves. How
I
creative
caught
is
my
that?
son I caught my son doing that. Okay. So I had to
Okay.
pull the plug on
Yeah.
that.
So yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
Kids have
Right.
become
You
so
understand.
smart during the pandemic, I think. The children have become really smart.
Much
Right.
smarter.
But
Much
teachers
smarter.
will be headed, right? Big headache for
Yeah.
I
teachers.
know.
So they do all kinds of stuff, right? I mean, for example, they set up their own Discord
Exactly.
servers and they are
Certain form
asking
of
questions to.
gamification is needed. Is a certain form of gamification kind of thing to engage
Exactly.
while learning,
That's
while
that's
teaching,
exactly what we do.
polls and all stuff. That to engage them, to build excitement, to actually come and learn and study. That kind of a
Right, Anand,
yeah.
because when they're playing games, have you seen them? They don't just blink
Yeah.
their eyes even for a second. They're so engrossed in playing games.
So
If they can do that,
focused
why
and
not education, right? And
yes.
games are not easy as well. They're playing all those complicated war games I've seen, so difficult
Right.
games.
Yes. So what we
We
do is
have
to make games
certain.
simple and just insert the games into PowerPoint, so every teacher can use that. Yeah,
For
that's the
example,
approach.
let me just add a point in this, right? While personally, I do not see most governments encouraging gaming coming into education, because education is treated as extremely serious, and gaming or gamification is a slightly different kind of a thing over there. I do know that my son, for example, has learned more about civic rights by playing this game called, I think, 270, which kind of mimics the US elections, right? So
Okay.
he's learned more about that than by using that game rather than going through an entire course. So yes, I agree with what you're talking about, but the problem is that by the time something like this actually happens, and by the
Mhm.
time the powers that decide what educational standards should be bless it, I think it's a long way off. That's where
Yeah,
Mm,
right.
I'm going to clam up
I
now.
agree.
I'm going to leave it to the rest of you to
Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing their insights and views and journey today with us. I think for my take would be like education should be for everyone, because back in the old days, education like the MBA somebody mentioned, it's so expensive. It's not accessible to everyone. Like in Singapore, John, like the private education is very expensive, right? I mean, why should the education be so much expensive, right? So if startups and founders like yourself can come up with solutions where education is made available, the same standard of education is made available to the masses, then you are solving a big problem and creating an impact to the society as well. So that's my closing remarks for the session, I would say. Technology obviously is a big trigger in bringing education to the masses, and we've seen that during the times of pandemic as well. I would like to have Anand and John to speak about your closing remarks for the day on the topic. something for our investors and other speakers and audience to take back from the session. So John, you being an entrepreneur, been in the education space for a long time. You've seen the ups and downs. You've seen good times, bad times, and surprising times like what you just said. So what's your closing remarks for the session today?
Well, I think if there's only one thing we can learn from the pandemic, I think learning must go digital, right? So and we use technology to prevent us and students to suffer anything like this, because learning is digital. It can happen anywhere. You're from home. You're using any of your device. You get access to a lot of things that you can learn, and you can also interact with the teacher. So what we're trying to do is to bridge every teacher to the era of technology, because it's already not a good to have or possible to have thing. Is something that we need to equip every teacher with. So that's my closing remarks. Learning must go digital.
Absolutely. I totally agree to that, and should reach the masses. What's your feedback about VCTV? Because we would like to, because I really like your insights as a founder. We would like to have you back on our other panels like we have. So what's your feedback about this VCTV format that we have?
Well, I like this format. It's like chit chat, and we come from different angles and different places, different time zones. So our views are sort of we have a lot in common, but we also have views from different angles. So I think it's a great exchange of ideas, talking to you guys, founders and investors and yourself.
Thank you, John.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to move to Anand now. Anand, what's your closing remarks for the show?
Well, again, first of all, it's been a lot of learning and, talking to everyone, a lot of insights as well, things which we can, integrate, moving forward. Again, learning is always the best thing, getting new things. But what we feel for the closing point, what I would like to say is this technology should be used for the benefit of the community. And if that can be used in the proper sense, rather than just thinking about, monetizing our own businesses, then it won't find the real solution. So if the aim and the mission of the company is right, the business will always come, and at a higher level business will come. So we have to focus on those key areas, those key problems, and building and providing this technology to be used at that level. Then I think nothing can stop, and for any business.
Great.
I think that's one of the main things.
Thank you, Anand. What's your feedback about VCTV? Because you really wanted to come on VCTV.
Yes. Yes, certainly. It would be much better if my tech team is again with me as well. That would have answered the questions in a much better fashion. But obviously, it's great. It's a lot of learning. It's new. It's good as well. We do coaching sessions with our own staff, but externally, like the first time, it was a bit of a hiccup in the front for me, but yes, it all went well. It's very good. I really liked it. I would love to be again as well, obviously, and with more better preparation, to be honest, with my seniors along with.
Absolutely. No worries, Anand. We'll definitely have you back on our show. Thank you so much. What's your okay, sorry, you just said that. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. Guish, what's your closing remarks for the show today?
Once again, thanks a ton. I think it's been insightful as usual. And I look forward to being on other panels of VCTV.
Thank you so much. Yes, and obviously, I think you like the format of VCTV. That's why you keep on coming back on the panels. And yes, and we like to have you on our panels as well, for sure. Thank you. And last but not least, Gary, what's your closing remarks and feedback about VCTV?
Yeah, so this, as we said, the digital transformation education is upon us. And it's been forced upon us, but the effects can be an incredibly lasting and provide that democratization of opportunity. So I'm really excited about it. You can reach me, Gary Fowler, on LinkedIn, Gary at gsdvs.com. I'd love to hear from the startups, from other investors. And I love VCTV. They're the best, Sonny. So I enjoy being here, and I enjoy being with Kyle and you and all the VCTV team. It's a really great experience, and it helps spread the word. And I'm hearing a lot. I get feedback from all over the world about these events. So you're doing a great job.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you so much, Anand, John, and Guhesh. So that's the whole idea about VCTV, is to connect people, the like-minded people, where we have other problem solvers and the people are looking for the solution, right? So startups and founders who are looking to raise funds, who are looking to connect with investors, who are looking to gather some knowledge like what we did today in the session, they can always reach out to Gary, reach out to Guhesh, on our platform through www.latoken.com/shows. And under shows, you can see events, pitches, and we have several different categories for you to have a look at. And if you're looking to pitch John and Anand, if you're looking to come on forthcoming sessions of VCTV on our EdTech platform, please feel free to reach out to Carol, who has just sent you email, inviting for the show. So we can just fit you on a panel where we have a different set of investors and speakers where you can share your details about your project if you're looking to raise funds or looking to do an IEO listing, or if you're from the crypto industry. And for investors, this is a platform for you to connect and network with other investors, build relationship, collaborate, and stay connected. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your time. This is a Friday evening for me and John over here. And I understand, and obviously Guhesh, the evening is coming for you as well. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your time and your insights today. I'm going to be back. I host the shows Monday to Friday, no weekends. So I'll be back on Monday with another topic, with another set of speakers. Till then, stay connected, stay safe, and have a lovely evening and happy weekend as well. All right.
Thank you so much.
Gary,
thank you so much.
My pleasure. Gary, if I may, I will email you. I'm connected to you on LinkedIn. I think some of the stuff that you're doing in GSD, this one, I think that there are some things that I'd like to pick your brains on.